Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and I want to follow up on last night's video where I talked about all the big reveals that they did and my thoughts on that. But I wanted to do a separate, hopefully shorter, video about this EA investors meeting that they also did yesterday, where they talk about all their big games, and The Sims is, of course, part of that. And they revealed a few more interesting bits of information. Full credit to Sims community for uploading a copy of this. I'll leave a link to their channel in the video description below. So this is presented by Laura Meal, the president, EA Entertainment and Technology, and starts off by talking about some very high numbers with their stats. 500 million lifetime players, that's a lot of people. Over 1 billion gallery downloads, over 200 million hours watched of Sims content, and over 26.5 million followers across all their social platforms. Laura then talks about the mainline Sims tradition of how they eventually start from scratch with a new base game, while showing a graph of how well each Sims game has done. And I was surprised a little that The Sims 3 actually did worse than The Sims 2. Not by a whole lot, it looks like. I know The Sims 2 Pets was the best-selling expansion pack of all time for The Sims. I don't know if that's still the case now, but they've said that for a long time. But wow, to actually see them just straight out admit, yeah, The Sims 3 did worse than The Sims 2 is quite something. But the point here is that they're disrupting the sequel model, and instead they're making The Sims 4 the foundation of their Sims universe going forward. And Laura mentions that they're going to update the core technology foundation of The Sims 4. What exactly does that mean? I don't know, but I don't think that's going to mean open world. The Sims Project Renee is another pillar of this, focusing more on multiplayer experiences. My Sims has its own pillar here, which is interesting to basically appeal to younger generations of Simmers, but it is confirmed there is more to come. It's not just the My Sims Cozy Bundle on the Switch. Lastly, there's The Sims Project Stories, a new mobile game which is supposed to be a platform for creating and sharing stories in the Sims universe. And this will be all united by the Sims Hub. There's going to be common creator tools, a shared gallery, a single marketplace, the ability to port objects and modes from one experience to another, and a unified social network that will seamlessly connect players and fans. So, Miiverse for The Sims? That could be interesting. There is talk about the Sims movie, but nothing really new compared to what I talked about in last night's video. So then the next thing they talk about is AI. When I saw that graphic on the screen, I was like, oh god, no! But the first thing they talked about didn't sound so bad. It's more a second thing they mention a bit more in passing that I'm concerned about. The project they talked about here is implementing a search by using a photo instead of just typing text, because text can be misspelled or it can be in a language other than English, because it actually is mentioned most Sims players are outside of the US. So they feel that it is more reliable to use a photo. For example, instead of typing red house with white trim into the search bar to find existing creations on the gallery, they use a photo of a red house with white trim to search. So it's not like using generative art and mashes stuff together to make something new for you. It's just a different method of searching the gallery. So this sounds okay to me, and I don't think they're getting rid of the text search. I don't know if I'll use this photo search over that. We'll just have to see when this is actually released, which is apparently going to be soon. But then they talk about using that same search technology to create items. At first, I thought this meant, say, uploading a picture of a person and then the game creates a sim automatically using the assets within the game without generating anything extra. to create just basically like what you would normally do when you try to make yourself in the game, except the game does it for you. But I'm not so sure. This might be the bad sort of AI that I don't like. Generative AI that steals from artists and is very harmful for the environment. Would I be shocked if EA did the generated AI stuff? No, of course not. But that does not mean I have to like it. But if it's like Inzoi, where it's entirely optional and you can avoid all the AI crap, then I'll just avoid the AI crap and use the rest of the game. Then more talk about a social feed where you can easily keep up with your favorite creators, see what other people are downloading, and how they're sharing their content. And it is shown on a phone here, and it reminds me of how much I miss the Sims 4 gallery app. But this is basically its way of returning in spirit. But that's it for all the main points of this investor presentation. So what sticks out to me the most is the 4 pillars, and that My Sims is one of them. So yeah, it's not just going to be a couple of remasters and that's it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store. I would not be surprised if these remasters do well enough that it justifies them making a whole new My Sims title from scratch. Yeah, they are very insistent on keeping The Sims 4 going for a long time, but My Sims is a different case. Like, they're just remastering a couple of games for now, and these were from the Wii era, when we were still getting games in not even high definition, just standard definition, at least when it comes to Nintendo. So I think it would be very interesting to see a brand new My Sims title that uses modern graphics and has all sorts of really nice features that they didn't cover in the previous games. Though I'm not saying that has to be the next thing. I wouldn't mind seeing more, or even just all the My Sims games remastered. I'm especially interested in My Sims Sky Heroes. I feel like that would be right up my alley. I don't get to play flying games all that often, but when I do enjoy it. So yeah, that would be fun to see on the Switch. I'm also curious about that Sims Project Stories game that's supposed to be on mobile devices, because it sounds like it is going to have a very different focus from free play and mobile. It's not going to be just another Sims game on the go, but it's focusing way more on storytelling. So this sounds like it could have more appeal to me than free play or mobile did. The Sims movie, already talked about in my previous video. I'm still cautiously optimistic. Could be good, could be bad. The people behind it gives me a little bit of optimism. It's not the same as it was with video game movies, like say 10 or 15 years ago, where it's like almost always guaranteed that a video game adaptation for the big screen is gonna be bad. So yeah, we'll see about that. As far as The Sims 4 goes, I do love the game overall. I've had many enjoyable experiences despite the bugs I've had and the many criticisms I express that some people tend to focus on so much that they think I actually hate the game with a burning, fiery passion. But no, if I truly hated the game, then I would have dropped that from my channel a long time ago. So what if The Sims 4 is my main focus right now? That doesn't mean it has to be like that forever. Yeah, I do make money off my YouTube channel, but it's not my main source of income by any stretch. So it's not like that's a factor. So there are some things I would still love to see with The Sims 4. I mean, I talk about cars a lot. I also tend to bring up bands and hotels quite often, and more worlds outside of the typical North American setting. That's been, I guess you could say, tradition for the past 3 games especially. But I just feel like there's so much more they could still do with The Sims, and limiting themselves to The Sims 4 just feels a little sad to me. It'd be like if Nintendo stopped making consoles after the GameCube. Like, they could make many more great games, I'm sure, but then it's like, oh, we never would have had the experiences of the Wii or the Switch and the many games that came with those, even though they could have maybe done something similar on older hardware, but it wouldn't be the same. Like, I love The Sims 2. That's where I think The Sims peaked. But if they had stopped there, there's things that I don't think they would have ever done. The most obvious example is being open world and much more detailed create-a-sim modes. Despite my skepticisms about The Sims 4, though, I think overall from this EA investor presentation, I have a little bit more positive to say than negative, which I never thought I'd ever say about an EA investor presentation specifically in my entire life, but here we are. So that wraps up another Sims info and thoughts video. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.